Imagine standing in the middle of the desert, not as a visitor, not as someone scrolling past history on a screen, but as someone who is actually there, breathing that air, feeling that heat, living that moment. The sun is relentless. It doesn't just shine, it presses down on you. Your skin burns, your throat is dry. Every breath feels like you're inhaling dust. The ground beneath your feet is unstable, shifting slightly with every step. The wind moves slowly, carrying grains of sand that stick to your skin, your lips, your eyes. And then you see it. A stone. Massive, silent, unmoving. A 100-ton block, heavier than anything you've ever seen, heavier than anything that should be possible to move, especially in a world without machines. Now ask yourself, honestly, how would you move it? Take a second. Think about it, because this is the exact problem ancient Egyptians faced thousands of years ago. No cranes, no engines, no steel, just people. And yet, they didn't just move one of these stones. They moved thousands. They shaped them. They transported them across long distances. They lifted them and placed them with precision so accurate that even today it's hard to replicate. So how? For centuries, people have tried to answer this. Some say it was simple manpower. Others believe advanced lost knowledge was involved. Some even go further, suggesting something far beyond what we understand. But to truly understand this, we need to stop looking at the pyramids as finished monuments and start seeing them as living moments in time. Picture this. A massive construction site in ancient Egypt, not quiet, not empty, alive, loud, intense. Hundreds of workers moving together, voices shouting commands, feet pressing into sand, ropes stretching tight, the sound of wood scraping, stone grinding, breath echoing in the heat. In the center of it all, that same massive stone. At first, they try brute force. Dozens, maybe hundreds of people pulling with everything they have, muscles tense, faces strained, hands bleeding from rough ropes. Nothing. The stone doesn't move, not even a little. Frustration builds, energy drains, the heat becomes unbearable. It feels impossible. But then something changes. Someone, maybe by accident, maybe by observation, pours water onto the sand in front of the stone, just a small amount. At first, it seems meaningless, but the sand reacts. It darkens, it compacts, it becomes firmer, more stable. They pull again, and this time, the stone moves. A tiny shift, almost nothing. But that moment, that single moment, changes everything, because they realize something powerful. The world itself can help them, if they understand it. Today, scientists have tested this exact idea, and it's true. Wet sand reduces friction. It allows heavy objects to slide more easily. So yes, part of the mystery has a real scientific explanation. But here's where it gets deeper. Because discovering something once is not enough. They had to turn that discovery into a system. And that's exactly what they did. They built wooden sleds, placing the massive stones on top so they could glide instead of drag. They used rollers, constantly cycling them from the back to the front. They organized teams, not just random groups, but coordinated units working in rhythm. Every movement mattered. If the water wasn't poured at the right moment, friction increased. If the rollers weren't placed correctly, the stone could stop, or worse, shift dangerously. If the rhythm broke, everything collapsed. This wasn't chaos. This was precision. This was engineering. This was intelligence at a level many people underestimate. And still, even after understanding all of this, there's a feeling you can't ignore. Because when you stand in front of the pyramids today, you don't just think, you feel. Something ancient, something powerful, something unfinished in its explanation. And this is where the conversation changes. Because beyond science, beyond engineering, there are stories. Stories passed down through generations. Stories about giants, beings larger than normal humans, stronger, capable of lifting and moving things that would be impossible for ordinary people. It sounds like a myth, but here's the strange part. These stories don't exist only in Egypt. They appear in different parts of the world, different cultures, different times, all describing something similar: massive beings, builders. So the question becomes, why? Why would so many civilizations tell the same kind of story? Is it coincidence, or is it memory? Imagine this for a moment. Among the hundreds of workers, there were a few individuals who stood out, not just stronger, but different, taller, heavier, built in a way that gave them an advantage. Not gods, not supernatural beings, but something rare, something not fully understood. Maybe they didn't build everything. Maybe they didn't move every stone. But maybe they played a role in the moments that mattered most, when a stone refused to move, when a critical lift was needed, when precision had to be perfect. Could that explain some of the mystery? Maybe. Or maybe it's just another story we tell because we don't yet have all the answers. Because the truth is, we don't fully know. We have evidence, we have experiments, we have theories that make sense, but we don't have the complete picture. And maybe that's what makes this so powerful. Because the pyramids are not just structures, they are questions. Questions carved into stone, waiting for us to understand them. They challenge our assumptions. They challenge our understanding of history. They challenge what we believe humans were capable of. Think about it. Thousands of years ago, without modern tools, without modern technology, they created something that still stands today, something that still confuses experts, something that still inspires millions of people around the world. So maybe the real story isn't just about moving stones. Maybe it's about something deeper, about human intelligence, about adaptation, about working together towards something bigger than yourself, and maybe about knowledge that didn't survive time. Because civilizations don't last forever. Knowledge can be lost, stories can turn into myths, truth can become legend, and sometimes what was once real becomes something we no longer recognize. So the next time you see the pyramids, don't just look at them as ancient buildings. Look at them as a message from people who lived thousands of years before us, telling us something without words, something powerful, something simple yet deep. We were capable of more than you think. And maybe, just maybe, so are you.
Hi, this video is for educational purposes and was edited and structured by me using AI tools.